Local news, national stories, international headlines. Newspapers can and do record them all. But like all physical artifacts, newspapers are vulnerable to their surrounding environment. Environmental factors can cause permanent and irreversible damage that can not only affect the appearance but also the chemical composition and physical structure of the material they are made of. To illustrate this impact, I exposed 8 broadsheet samples to light, heat, and humidity over a 3-week period, and recorded obvious changes in physical structure and chemical composition. For comparison, a control sample was also kept in a cool, dark place. For more detailed information on each of the variations of these 3 variables, please refer to the handout in front of you. At the beginning of the experiment, it was hypothesized that there would be a noticeable evidence of either physical or chemical deterioration in all samples bar the control. This deterioration would likely present as the discoloration for the samples bared to light, mold growth and distortion for the samples in humid environments, and paper brittleness for those samples exposed to heat. While some of these hypotheses proved correct, many of the samples developed no discernible evidence of change. It is assumed that this lack of change was likely due to the limited time constraints of the experiment, and that over time the changes would become more apparent. Of the 3 samples that endured varying amounts of heat, only the sample placed in the sauna showed any evidence of physical deterioration, becoming coarser and more brittle upon touch. Although Chiedo and Venn note that dry heat technically makes paper stronger, it also accelerates deterioration. As a result, paper can become more brittle and therefore more susceptible to flaking and cracking. Care should always be taken to store the newspapers in your collection away from any potential sources of heat. For the 2 samples placed in humid environments, the damage was more immediately observable, with both samples showing evidence of deterioration in the form of curling page edges and buckling paper. This was likely the result of dramatic fluctuations in relative humidity. The long-term impact of these fluctuations would be physical deterioration. Humid environments also have the additional challenge of mold growth, which is irreversible and stains the paper according to the Heritage Collection Council. For the 3 broadsheets exposed to light, only the direct sunlight sample showed any discernible change, with the UV light yellowing the page considerably. Of all environmental factors that can affect collections, light is perhaps the most common. Over time, it can cause fading, discoloration, and fragility of paper. But as Conn and Wallace established, light is also reasonably easy to manage using correct storage procedures and building design choices. In conclusion, I would like to acknowledge that it is possible to mitigate the impact of some environmental factors to a newspaper collection. The memo coming around this afternoon will further explain this. Thank you.